Once upon a time, in the quiet heart of the forests of the east, there stood a thriving place called Odim Village. The land was rich with life. Tall palm trees swayed gently around the farmlands, and the air always carried the soft smell of roasted yam and smoked fish. But the pride of Odim was its great river, Obirinmu River, wide, deep, and shining like liquid bronze beneath the sun. The gods had blessed that river with plenty, and it gave fish so fat and many that Odim became known across all the surrounding land as the village of fishermen. Boats came from far and near to trade with them. Their markets were full, their barns were never empty, and their people laughed often. Among them lived a young maiden named Nnena. She worked as a housemaid for Chief Obidike, one of the wealthiest and most influential men in the village. Though poor by birth, she was graceful in her movements, respectful in her speech, and diligent in her duties. Her beauty was quiet yet striking. Her eyes soft as dusk, her smile warm as morning. She sang as she walked, and the household glowed with her presence. Even her employer's family treated her like one of their own, showering her with gifts of clothes and beads, praising her before guests. But this love became her undoing. The other maidens in the village began to envy her. They whispered in corners, their hearts burning with jealousy. To see a common maid loved so dearly while they were ignored was more than their pride could bear, and so they plotted her ruin. They stole the sacred cowries from the village shrine. Cowries used only during the oath taking of chiefs, never to be touched by common hands. This was considered an unforgivable sin in Odim, a crime that brought shame and death. One moonless night, they crept into Chief Obidike's compound and hid the sacred cowries inside Nnena's calabash of grain. At dawn, they cried out before the whole village that the cowries were missing, and soon after, they found them in Nnena's room. The news swept through Odim like a storm. The elders gathered at the square, faces hard as stone. The law was clear. Anyone who defiled the sacred cowries must die by the river, for the gods to wash their impurity away. Nnena fell to her knees, weeping, pleading. She tore her clothes. She begged them to search again, to question the others, to see her heart. She saw by the spirits of her ancestors that she was innocent, but her cries fell on deaf ears. Even Chief Obidike, who had once called her daughter, said nothing. Fear of losing his honor sealed his lips like iron. By sunset, the people led Nnena in chains to the back of Obirinmu River. The drums of judgment sounded like thunder. They tied her hand. They pushed her into the black water. Her scream tore through the air, then faded into the silence. They buried her body at the riverbank and walked away, thinking the matter was done. But death had not ended her story. Beneath the cold river, her spirit sank deep into the dark, where the ancient water spirit slept. There she cried with such pain and fury that the spirit awoke. Its heart moved to pity. It wrapped her broken soul in its power and gave her the strength to seek vengeance. And so Nnena became the weeping ghost of Obirinmu River. Her voice rose from the water each midnight, wailing like a mother who had lost her child. Her shadow drifted above the waves, pale and glowing, her tears turning the water bitter. She lured young fishermen who came too close, calling them in with her sorrowful song. And when they reached for her, she dragged them under and drowned them. Travelers who tried to cross the river vanished without a trace. One by one, the young men of Odim Village were swallowed by the water. Maidens lost their suitors. Families wept. Boats lay rotting on the shore. Fear gripped the land like a tightening fist. Other villages stopped coming. Traders stayed far away. No drums were heard at night. The market turned silent. Hunger walked the street, and the proud village of fishermen became a place of shadows and whispers. For 20 long years, this curse lay heavy upon Odim. Until the day a young fisherman named Obinna rose from among the broken people. He had lost his father and his elder brothers to the river. He had grown up hearing the weeping every night. He had sworn that he would uncover the truth behind Obinna's death, even if it would cost him his life. While others trembled, he began to search. He spoke with the old servant who had once worked in Chief Obidike's house. He listened to the whispers of the surviving maidens who had grown old with guilt. He followed every thread of memory left from that cursed day. And at last, he gathered the courage to stand before the whole village. In the square, before the elders and the people, he accused Chief Obidike of silence, of knowing Nnena's innocence and hiding it. The old chief trembled under the weight of the truth. At last, he fell to his knees and confessed everything. How he had seen the jealous maidens steal the sacred cowries. How he had feared to speak out. How he had let Nnena be condemned to save his name. A cry rose from the crowd like the breaking of chains. And that very night, the weeping began again, but softer this time, hollow and tired. The people gathered at the river bank, torches trembling in their hands. The water glowed pale, and from its depths rose Nnena's spirit, her face wet with endless tears. The river spirit itself rose behind her like a mountain of moonlight water, and spoke in a voice that shook the air. Her name had been cleared. Her cry had been heard. Would she let go? Nnena looked at Obinna, who bowed low and promised that she would never be forgotten. Her face softened. The glow faded. The weeping stopped. And with a final smile, she dissolved into the mist and was gone. For the first time in 20 years, Obirinmu River lay calm and sweet again. The fishermen returned. Nets came back heavy with silver fish. The market awoke. Laughter filled the village square. Travelers came far from faraway land. Chief Obidike gave away his wealth and died in penance. The villagers built a small shrine of white stones where Nnena had been buried and named it Udo Nnena, meaning Nnena's peace. And every year when the moon is full, they gather at the river bank with flowers and calabashes of palm wine to tell their children the story of the maiden who wept for justice and how truth at last set her spirit free. And to this day, when the river shines like glass beneath the moon, the elder says it is because Nnena is at peace at last. Sleeping gently beneath the water she was once haunted. Did you enjoy the story? Kindly share your thoughts with us in the comment box below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos.